In unison, each of the giants lifted a leg high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with that thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up above the giant soldiers' heads. They covered everywhere in a spray of gold as they began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them into pieces. Those broken pieces numbered exactly 30 each, and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the original, which made 210 for all 7 of them, and all those burst at once, each splitting into 34s, so that there were 6,300. It became a thundercloud barrage, drawing out a beautiful geometric pattern, and then each of those changed into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot at the predecessor Beatrice. As if? Come on, good witch Beatrice! You can do it! Certainly, a multiple of almost 20,000 thunderbolts should have reduced the master's body to dust. But there was no impact. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that moment, from the direction the sun was supposed to set, she felt an impossible ray of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of the master, holding aloft the spear of the gods that had supposedly been repelled a short while ago. She bore a brilliant radiance like the sun on her back, and made it shine on the incarnation of darkness. Whoa! Beatrice, watching from there, was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. By now, the predecessor Beatrice had seized a position directly alongside the giant soldier battle line.
これでお遊戯の時間はおしまいですよ、ベアトリーチ。このわらわが側面を許しただと。
Her bold expression hadn't faltered once before now, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the holy spear. In midair, it sprung up into the air once more, and changed its form once again.
さあさあおいでなさい、ドベルグの兄弟たち。我に巨人を砕きし天の鉄槌を与えたまえ。
おお！
巨人兵ども、わらわを守れ！何をしているか、ノロマども！
By now it was no longer a spear, but the whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm as it flew through the air. It was the legendary hammer that had shaken the king of the Frost Giants, so the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. Alright! Go Hammer of Heaven! So no matter how much their master warded them, they couldn't block the path of that hammer.
バックランクメイト、安らかに眠りなさい。しょー。
Before the whirlwind of this massive chunk of metal, Beatrice was nothing more than a mere speck. The instant the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, Beatrice's form turned into a massive war tower. The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattered tremendous amounts of rubble, but it did not reach she who had escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, the war tower had sucked in the massive iron hammer without crumbling, and blocked the way. Even the giant smashing iron hammer couldn't break through the final tower, protecting the witch. However, this war tower was in fact the witch's last trump card. which means Beatrice is on her last leg. She's grasping! It was a war tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once. But this tower was impregnable. No weapon could break through it. And now she cannot use it anymore. Alright! Her defenses are weakening! Just then, the moon disappeared. As Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line and the war tower, she looked up at the sky. Oh! When she did, inside the moon was the figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessor Beatrice rode the horse with him. Here she comes to kick some ass! His cloak had blocked the moon and swallowed it in an eerie shadow. And the spear of the gods was in his hand once more. He was, in other words, a godly knight who had jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers and the war tower, attacking from the heavens. Wait, it's like in chess. The knight has jumped over the pawns and the tower. You're done now, Beatrice. Eh? Something was written on that.
やられた。スマザードメイト、楽しかったですよ、ベアトリーチェ。
The struggle to the death between the two witches with the same name. With its result. The spear that had been launched from the heavens pierced the ground. The giant soldier battle line and the war tower split up into countless gold butterflies, shrouding the area in a golden storm. Then, the sound of thunder, and the sound of the falling rain and wind. Suddenly, that place was the empty rose garden once more. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other. But only Beatrice was different. She had been pierced straight through by the spear, from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttock. Victory belongs to Good Witch Beatrice. Well, time to give up the title and name now. End the game and go back to our daily lives. Let's go home. Unable to even reach the ground with her feet. Horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly, tormented by the wind and rain.
ベアトリーチェ様。
さすが恐ろしいお方です。
これで決着です、ベアトリーチェ。
Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage. But a strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful.
無限の魔女の称号と力、そしてベアトリーチェの名を今こそ返してもらいましょう。無限の魔女を語るにはお前は未熟が過ぎます。やめて、許しておくれよ、お嬢様。ちょっとふざけただけじゃねえかよ。あなたから我が名を奪います。元の姿に戻してあげましょう。過ぎたる力を手放し、己にふさわしい生を全うするがよいでしょう。 さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
The predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered around the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice, and it seemed that it caused her intense pain. A cry of agony escaped from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it.
さあさあ、目を閉じてごらんなさい。思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。さあ、ベアトリーチェ、あなたも私と一緒に復唱なさい。一緒にお歌を歌いましょう。そうすればすぐに終わりますよ。あなたの苦痛が少しでも早く終わります。
そうだな。お師匠様と一緒にお歌を歌うなんてどれくらいぶりかな。
さあ一緒に。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。
When the two of them began to recite the same chant, more and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice. Wait, are you serious? I mean, I am happy that we finally won a battle against Beatrice, but is this it for her? Is she seriously gonna lose her name and title here?
大丈夫ですよ、お嬢様。あなたは私の弟子であることを失いますが、私の仕えるお嬢様であることに変わりはありません。そうしたらまた一緒にご本を読んで差し上げましょう。リンゴのパイを焼いて差し上げましょう。昔のように。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。
ああ、思い出してごらんなさい。そろそろ思い出せてきたかな。なあ、お師匠様。あんたの後ろにあるそれ、思い出したかな。
何ですか？
No.
これは。
When the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was a creepy hedgehog crouching there. Eh? Wait. Is that Sonic? Wait, it can't be. Ferret? No. It was herself. There was another predecessor Beatrice whose whole body was packed with ballista shots. Wait, what? Lying there like a pincushion doll.
さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。違うか。さあさあ、思い出してごらんなさい。あなたがどうやって殺されたのか。
Wait, what? What the hell is going on here? The predecessor Beatrice was shocked. Instantly, her form began to grow faint.
これはいつの間に。
最初に呼んだのは双剣の塔ではない。四つ子の塔だったのよ。 お師匠様の左右はるかに潜んだ隠し塔が描くセブンスランクルークの死の境界線をお師匠様はのこのこと踏み越えてきてくれた。チェックの発生が遅れてしまったことだけはマナー違反。
Ugh. You can't be serious.
率直に謝ろうぞ。
The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be so resolved with that. She had wanted to make her master take her next move, and had continued acting as though the game was still on. She had immediately revived her with the endless power, and made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. Then, the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to completely erase her form. And she did. The spear which had pierced Beatrice also erased itself. Beatrice, no! Beatrice finally fell and landed on her feet. There wasn't even a trace of scar.
楽しかったぞ、お師匠様。また遊びたくなったらいつでもよみがえらせてやるよ。それで適当に遊んだら死体だったことをまた思い出させてやるからさ。なあ、ちゃんとあんたの言いつけは守ってるぜ。おもちゃは遊び終わったらちゃんとおもちゃ箱にしまいましょうってな。
Guess it was too good to be true. Yeah.
楽勝でございますかな。
愚か、新章だ。四つ子島で騙せてなかったら死んでおったのはわらわの方よ。さすがはお師匠様だが、これで胸が張れるというもの。わらわは今こそお師匠様を完全に超えたとな。ロノウェ、お師匠様の亡骸をもう少しマシにしておけ。わらわもそこまで敬意を失ってはおらぬでな。
かしこまりました。今宵の第一の晩は少々派手に暴れすぎました。少しは片付けも必要でしょう。すぐに取り掛かります。ヤギたちよ、お片付けの時間ですよ。
When Noby snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants, which appeared one after another, slowly out of the black. One by one, they lined up behind Noby's back, wordlessly standing at attention.
この度は6人の遺体をどのようにいたしますか。また密室形式に。
わらわは今それを考える気分にない。ロノウェに任す。バトラーを悩ませるようなとびっきりの密室を頼むぞ。
かしこまりました。それではとびきりの。
それ、バトラはどこだ？バトラー、わらわの大活躍見た？ちくしょ
今のめちゃくちゃな魔法の嵐を見せつけられて、俺は何を否定すればいいんだ。魔女はいるも何も、あんなドッカンドッカン凄まじいファンタジーを見せつけられて、今の俺は何を否定すりゃいいんだよ。もうわかんねえ。前回もそうだが、このイーカス素敵なマジカルバトルをどう否定すりゃいいんだよ。
Well, I still cannot say that I am sure about this at this point, but I have come up with some idea a while ago. Though, again, if it is what I think it is, I don't know what to feel about it.
だよな。こんなの見ちまったらもう言い逃れはできねえもんな。さあバトラー、とんでも推理を聞かせてくれよ。
お嬢様、笑いに品がございませんよ。
おお、これはすまぬ。しかしわらわの責任ではないぞ。何しろバトラにキューッと両目を固く閉じてキリキリギリギリ歯ぎしりするなんとも悔しそうなその表情を見せられると、
ギリギリ
自然とわらわの口からこぼれてしまうものでな。
さあバトラ様、くじけずにテーブルへお戻りを。お嬢様はバトラ様の反撃を期待されておりますよ。
ふざけるな。何をどう反論すりゃいいってんだ。まずあの塔が地面から生えてきたあたりからもうめちゃくちゃだろうが。実は六軒島の地下に合体変形巨大ロボの秘密研究所でもあって、ボタン一つでおかしな塔が生えてくるってのか。なあ、それならあのでけえ巨人どもはきっとロボットだぜ。あるいは悪の秘密結社のメカ怪獣かもな。
Or we are in a virtual world. I mean, there's also that.
わけわかんねえよ。俺に話しかけるんじゃねえ。うわー。
ほらほらほらほら、泣くなよ。魔法でドッカンドッカン。そなたが望むなら月だって砕くし、水星を雨のようにだって降らすさ。お前好みのムチムチ姉ちゃんで島を埋め尽くしてやってもいいんだぜ。さあさあ、ほらほらほら、わらわの出番は終わったぜ。受け手をさせよ、反撃しろよ。できねえだろ。できねえのは船長も承知よ。
Quadrillion%.
お前こういうのダメだもんな。こういうファンタジー本当は大好きなんだもんな。知ってんだよ。今時こんなの巷にいくらでも溢れてるじゃねえか。漫画に小説、アニメに映画。10代くらいのガキンチョたちがおかしな特殊能力いっぱい持ってて、世界の命運かけてドッカンバッカンやるやつ。
Right. Fiction can surely be quite something.
お前も大好きだもんな。知ってんだよ。隠すなよ。大好きじゃねえかよ。そのお前の大好きなやつがちょいと目の前で披露されただけじゃねえかよ。どうして漫画やアニメのそれは信じてくれるのに、わらわのだけ信じてくれねえんだよ。信じろよ信じろよ、信じちまえよ。反論なんかできねえさ。こうして見せられちまったんだからな。ほ らほらほらほら返事をしろよ。思考はいらねえ。素直に「ごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様」って言えばいいんだよ。ほらほら言ってみろ。ごめんなさいベアトリーチェ様って言ってみろよ。言えよ言えよ、恥ずかしがるなよ。
So undignified. There was no way to notice the coming of morning without opening a window and looking at the cloudy sky, which had become a tiny bit lighter. It wasn't a refreshing morning. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, which had kept falling since last night, and the howl of the wind. And presumably nobody heard the loud noise that happened outside the mansion, eh? No giant soldiers or towers falling on the ground or spears or anything, eh? I guess so.
とても朝とは思えないわね。私たちの心をそのまま示したひどい天気よ。
なら随分穏やかじゃねえか。雨は降れど槍が降らねえだけマシだぜ。
雨が降ろうと槍が降ろうとドンと来いっちゅうとこやな。
Uh-oh.
もう6時かいな。はあ、これで十分とちゃうか。あとは謎の19人目ベアトリーチェが動いてこんことには手の打ちようもないわ。
そういうことだ。だが向こうが撃ってくるだろうほとんどの手は想定できたはずだ。
そうね。兄弟の中に裏切り者さえ現れなければ私たちは大抵の事態に対応できるはずよ。
もうこの話は終わりにしましょう。結局徹夜しちゃったわね。眠いわ。
そうですね。朝食をとったら一度お休みになられてはいかがですか。
良い提案だ。この年に徹夜は応えるよ。
As they all stretched, they enjoyed this refreshing morning as best they could. Okay, well, as far as we know, all these adults stayed in the dining hall discussing all night. Unless some of them left and came back at times, but we don't know that yet, so... Huh.
顔でも洗ってこようぜ。きっとひでえ面さ。
何このひどい匂い。
As soon as they exited into the corridor, Kirie made an openly disgusted expression.
どうしましたか。ねえ、何かひどい匂いがしない？
ん？なんやこの匂いは。こらたまらんで。
Because of that fuss, everyone stuck their heads out into the corridor. It was a faint stench, but after the complaints, they clearly noticed it. Each of them went into the corridor, relying on their own sense of smell to tell them where this strange odor was coming from.
一体何事でしょう。現時に対応させましょう。きっともう使用人室に来ていて朝の準備をしているはずです。
頼む。まさかあのゴーダに限ってこんな匂いをさせる朝食を作っているとは思いがたいのだがね。
The Willow's group searched for the source of the smell, and determined that it was coming from underground, from the boiler room, but the door was locked, and they couldn't check inside. Meanwhile, Natsu's group were on their way to search for someone in the server room, when they noticed something strange about the parlor.
何ですかこれは。
Huh?
ひどいいたずらだわ。誰がこんなことを。
Drawn on the door to the parlor, in a paint that reminded one of blood, there was a strange, magic circle-like thing. The door to the parlor? Well, for a second I assumed that they put all the bodies in the boiler room, including Kenzo's, because, well, he was burned. So they locked the boiler room and there will be the locked room mystery. And thus, they would put the magic circle on the door to the boiler room, but the door to the parlor?
厨房にはまだ誰も来てないわ。何よそれ。
Eva's group, who had thought the smell had been coming from the kitchen, had returned, having observed that no one was there and that preparations for breakfast had not yet begun. And they noticed the unusual state of the parlor.
ダメだな。ボイラー室は鍵がかかってる。ボイラーの故障とかそういうのだとまずいんじゃないのか？使用人は誰かいたか？
その悪趣味な落書き、ここにもあるの？ボイラー室の扉にもあったのよ。
Also on the door to the boiler room.
なんやって？この薄気味悪い落書きがここだけじゃなく他にもあるっちゅうんか。まさか森の魔女ベアトリーチェの宣戦布告っちゅうわけやないやろな。
Hideyoshi tried to make fun of it, but staying at this creepy magic circle while listening to the wind and rain really made it seem like it was a message from a witch. The dripping bright red paint made one think of blood. It made things even more eerie. Hideyoshi tried to open the door, but it was locked. As a general rule, the parlor was never locked. Someone had gone out of their way to lock it. I guess so. Now I'm pretty curious about the keys. What would they have done with the keys now that all the servants are dead?
これはどういうこと？私たちが食堂で話し合いをしている最中に誰かがこっそりとこの落書きを残したというの？客間とボイラー室の扉に。
どうせ使用人の仕業よ。私たちはずっと一緒だったのよ。全員にアリバイがある。おそらくお父様に何かおかしな指示を受けてこんないたずらをしたのよ。
Well, whatever said right here, if none of the adults left the dining hall like at all during the night, then yeah, I can definitely say that they all have pretty airtight alibis. Unless we are to assume that all of them were into it and all, like they're all murderers and such, but other than that, if they all stayed in the dining hall like the entire time from 0 a.m. to 6 a.m., then yeah, they would have airtight alibis.
昨日のマリアちゃんの手紙の件も含めて使用人連中が親父の手先になって何かを企んでる可能性は十分疑えるからな。とにかくみんなどこに嫌がるんだ。まさかかくれんぼってわけでもねえだろうに。探そうぜ。
それより私は子供たちが気になるわ。無事よね。私確かめてくるついでにゲストハウスに使用人の人がいないか見てくるわ。
なら手分けだな。ゲストハウスにガキどもの様子を見に行く間、俺たちは屋敷の中を調べてみよう。考えたくはねえが、こんな薄気味悪い落書きがここだけってことはねえかもしれね
え。親父殿のおかしなゲームに巻き込まれているのかもしれんな。私は親父殿のところへ行って事情を聞いてみよう。まあ 素直に話を聞いてくれるとは思えんな。
Pretty interesting. So we have 2 locked room murders. I mean, one would assume that Beatrice put the bodies in one room and locked it, but now we have 2 rooms with 2 magic circles. Which could mean that she split the number of bodies into the 2 rooms. The adults split up. As a result, they confirmed that the 4 children were safe in the so-called cousins room on the 2nd floor of the guest house. It appeared that they had stayed up late last night playing. All of them were snoring loudly, so Rosa decided not to wake them. Furthermore, Nanjo, who had returned early the previous night to rest, was also alright. It seemed he believed in the phrase, early to bed, early to rise, and had awoken refreshed. Okay, well that's good. During that time, Kiri and Hideyoshi searched for the servants, but they didn't find them. The servant room in the guest house was also empty. I mean, all people are accounted for. The 4 cousins are in their room in the guest house, and we've seen all the adults alive. Because I was thinking that besides the 6 people that died in the first Twilight, there could be like an extra death that would surely surprise us, but nah, I guess so.
みんな夜更かしのしすぎね。
就任室は空っぽや。勤務表を見ても早番は6時からってことになっとる。もうお勤めをしてなきゃならん頃や。
仮眠室も空っぽよ。布団を抜け出した跡はあるけど、暖かくはなかったわ。
こら、クラウス兄さんたちの想像が当たったんとちゃうか？多分お父さんの指示で仕組んだゲームなんや。あの不気味な落書きを残してどこかに姿を隠して、わしらに何かをさせたいに違いないんや。
遺産や家督を誰が引き継ぐにふさわしいか確かめようっていうことですか？いくらなんでもそれは。
いいえ、お父様だったらそういうことをしてもおかしくないかもしれない。
何しろお父さんは大仕掛けが大好きや。例の碑文を大広間に掲げた時から練りに練った計画だったのかもしれへんで。
ならゲームの開始宣言、もしくはゲームの説明などがあったりはしないのかしら。マリアちゃんに渡したような紋章入りの封筒が出てきても良さそうだけど。
そうね。ひょっとすると屋敷で兄さんたちがそれを見つけたかもしれないわね。
南條先生、あんたなんか聞いてませんか？
申し訳ありませんが、私にも何が何だかさっぱりです。ただ、なるほど。金蔵さんが何かを企んで大仕掛けを打つことは私にも容易に想像できます。
一度屋敷に戻らんか？なんか向こうで見つけたかもしれんで。
お邪魔でなければ私もご一緒いたしましょう。
私はここに残るわ。上にマリアたちが寝てる。何が起こってるかわからないんだもの。子供たちを放ってはいけないわ。
そうね。私もローザさんとここで留守番してるわ。うちの人にそう伝えていただけませんか？
It wasn't Kiryu who remained in the guest house. Hideyoshi went with Nanjo and returned again to the mansion.